Welcome to another weekly edition of the Hellraiser Blog with Mickey Hellier. Mickey, welcome back after a nice break. How was it?
Yeah, nice holiday in the Caribbean. Needed it. Came back, worked flat out for about 3 days and need another holiday now.
Perfect. Well, whilst you were away, there's been a few massive announcements and we want to get your opinion on them. First off, Anthony Joshua fighting Charles Martin for the IBF heavyweight title.
That's got to be the big news at the moment. Obviously they've come to some agreement. They must have paid some serious amount of money, I'd imagine, to bring Charles Martin to the UK to defend his title in his first defence. It sort of makes sense to take the risk because, from my point of view, because if Joshua wins it, it's a big if, it's a hard fight. Experienced opponent who's been brought up by Henry Tillman very well. Boxed Rafael Zambano. In fact, Zambano boxed both of them, Joshua and Briggs. Right, so it makes sense to take the risk because if he beats Charles Martin, then we can go to the fight on a level playing field with Joshua and Tyson Fury. You know, one's champion and the other one isn't. The one that's champion could just say not enough money, and the purses would be influenced by that. Even though Joshua's an Olympic Games gold medalist, I think that stands him in good stead of any sort of deal they do. That brings that to the table. But if he's a world champion as well, he's every right to say, you know, well, I'm bringing as much as what Fury's and more, actually, because he won the Olympic gold medal. I want X amount of money. That's maybe a little bit down the line. First, we've got Charles Martin, and
who you've seen more than most of, and what do you make of him?
Yeah, obviously studied him before the fight with Zambano, so I knew him very well from there. Actually, we stayed in the same hotel, so I know him quite well as a person as well. Nice guy, really good guy. Came from American football. Michael King, the American entrepreneur who basically produced lots of top, like Jeopardy, Oprah, top American shows, multi-millionaire, had loads of money, decided let's try and bring a boxer through, set up a scheme, started picking guys out of the pool, normally goes to American football and other sports, and Charles Martin was one of them. I think it's a risk for Joshua because Joshua's only been past the third round, I think, with Dillian White once. And he got a bit of a wake-up call in that fight. And Charles Martin is steady. He's trained by Henry Tillman, the guy that boxed Tyson twice, won the Olympic gold medal. Good fighter and a good. Obviously, I stayed in a hotel with them, and I realised Tillman seems to really know his boxing very well.
Yeah.
Reminded me actually of James Cook, MBE, the British trainer. Just a sort of not a flash person, but very sound, sort of level-headed and clever guy, and the sort of person you'd want to train any prospect that you might have. And he certainly would have educated Charles Martin. And Martin's been a lot more rounds a lot more times. So I think if Joshua, who's looked very, very heavily muscled in his last few fights, if he comes in and doesn't get Martin out of there, you might have some sticky moments. Might even, be too much. We'll wait and see. Because Martin's a 12-round fighter.
Yeah.
I'm confident of. I'm not confident of that with Joshua yet. Even though I think actually Joshua's fast days a heavier hitter, has a lot more fluid movement and sort of natural flair to him. But I just think maybe it's a little bit early. But it is early.
It is very early.
If he wins it pays off. So
I was quite shocked to see that Martin actually boxed 11 times in 2013.
yeah.
So it's a hell of a lot. I mean, so he does have the advantage of rounds under his belt. But I mean, what's your prediction early? I know it's early, but what would be your prediction today?
Without knowing, the ins and outs of what's going on in camp and etc. I'd favour Joshua to stop him. I think Joshua will get to him and will get him out of there. But I wouldn't say that with any degree of confidence. I'm not. It's not one where I think, we know what's going to happen here, because I actually think Charles Martin might be a lot cuter than what they're anticipating. He had like an easy path to the title, if you like. I mean, there's not much on his record if you look through the names. And even when he fought for the title, it was a bit of as near to a guinea as you could get for the heavyweight title of the world. I think we might discover a lot about Charles Martin, but I think the things we might find out about him is actually he's got more in him than what they're anticipating. I think they're probably thinking, right, fight this guy, get him out of there, then we can fight Tyson Fury. Obviously, if Joshua comes in with the title, he's got a better bargaining position than if he comes in with nothing. So they've probably weighed it up and thought, let's go for it. It's going to be an exciting night, whatever happens.
Yeah. Well, we'll speak about it more in depth as it draws closer. But I just want to touch on two other heavyweights just briefly. Shannon Briggs moving to the UK supposedly to taunt and stalk David Haye.
We've heard that that's going to be the fight. Look, when you bring a foreigner into the UK to fight, you've got to get authorisation from the Boxing Board of Control, British Boxing Board of Control. I'd be surprised that he's got asthma, he's 44. I'd be surprised if he got in without any sort of hassle. He's certainly going to be checked over thoroughly, which may end in him being refused the right to box in the UK. I think it'd be a good fight. See the first fight Haye had. The opponent was poor.
Yeah.
But from a management point of view, maybe not promotional, because promoters always want to have great fight. You want the two best boxing each other, and it to be fireworks, and from a management point of view, I thought that's a good opponent. Because it wasn't really much of a test, and the guy had a good record and a rating, so it served its purpose. Shannon Briggs, I think, also actually, because he's an experienced guy, he's not rubbish. I mean, he boxed in Barno as well, actually, Shannon Briggs, and went a distance. I'd say the right kind of fight for this moment for Haye, getting back into it. Will Briggs stand much of a chance of upsetting the apple cart for Haye? I don't think so. I think Haye beats him, but like I say, from a management point of view, that's really what you want for getting Haye ready for the Joshuas or Tyson Furies or whoever he might end up fighting. That's the sort of fight you want. In terms of prediction, I'd definitely go with Haye by stoppage. I mean, I just can't imagine it
going any other way. Well, we'll see how that materialises in the coming weeks. Also in the week off, Khan Canelo was announced, shockingly.
Yeah, really surprised to hear that. Money talked. I mean, they must have, I'm imagining they must have offered a whopping purse to Khan, which they can probably afford to do because it's Canelo who's like the top now, basically he's the top Mexican selling fighter. It'll be a huge event, it'll be packed out. Can Khan beat him? He has been. Canelo struggles with guys that move well, and certainly Khan moves very well. He's a mover, he's very good at changing angles. For me, just the weight alone, I think the Wayne is made 1 pound over light middle, but I don't even see Khan as a light middle anyway. Really, I mean, he's going to be giving away, by the time they get in the ring, a huge amount of weight, yeah. And I just think, even though he might have smoother skills and a lot of assets that will cause problems for Canelo, will he beat him? Will he have enough power to knock him, out of his stride and to cause major problem? I think Canelo probably by halfway through start walking through Khan.
Do you think it does any damage to Khan's reputation though if he loses to Canelo?
No, he can come back and fight Kilbrook off the back of it. If he puts in a good performance, which he might cause Canelo a lot of problems because a lot of the assets that Khan has, speed, movement, are the things that previously have caused Canelo problems. So yeah, he could come in, give it a real good go, put in like a Rocky type performance, and then win a lot of people over. And then off the back of that, maybe one more win, and he can go in and fight Brook.
Well, I've heard that potentially the winner of the Canelo Khan fight is set to fight Golovkin, so whether he'll want that or not is another question. Let's move on to our own shores and your own show, the 27th of Feb next week. Wadi, what's the latest?
Two Southern area type fights. Wadi was in here today, Lighthouse Marina, so we just had our new press walls all installed.
Very nice it is.
So that fight's going ahead. We've got Tommy T against Tamika Mucha. Woodgate against Wadi, I think, is small fight of the year.
Yeah,
that is going to be on its own worth every penny of the ticket money. We've got about 22 fights on the bill, a huge card, and that fight is going to be. There's so many people that have got completely different opinions of what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Obviously, not obviously my own opinion, but I'm favouring Dan Woodgate as a manager, and we wouldn't have made the fight if we didn't. We wouldn't have put the bid in behind Dan if we didn't think he was going to win it. That said, Dan Woodgate's got to be on 100%. He's got to be on top form. It's going to be a good fight. I'm looking forward to it. Sort of fight as a punter you want to see. You know, this isn't like some guy that was drafted in from Latvia who's going to sort of walk through the 4 rounds. This is 2 guys that have got everything on the line. I think whoever loses, that's it. That is it. This is the last chance to lose. You know, that's the end of the boxing career, the end of the line for them. Obviously, look, we've looked at Wadi and the strengths and weaknesses that he has, and obviously we're going to work to nullify the strengths and take advantage of the weaknesses he's got. It's going to be a really, really tough fight. It's going to be a hard fight.
And if we could briefly mention, Tommy Tier has an opportunity to take the
Mucha. Yeah. Well, who knows? But I mean, as a gambling man, I would certainly favour Tamika Mucha in that one. I've seen them both. But Tommy Tier has improved. He's definitely improved, and I suppose the opportunity might be a tad early. I think that's the thing that I've got for me, is that it might be a little bit early for him. But look, his management fancy it. Mm-hmm. He fancies it. He's not a bad fighter. He's a good fighter, and Tamika Mucha actually isn't that experienced, but.
It couldn't be more evenly matched on paper if you look at it. Both had 11 fights, both unbeaten, and both have a similar KO record. They don't knock us out.
Mucha's boxed slightly better people, and he's an ABA champion previously, so that's what leans me. Like, Tommy Tier was a decent amateur, but I just think sometimes I like to season. Like, if you're going to fight someone like a former ABA champion, I want my guy to have as much preparation, which Tommy Tier has boxed mainly journeyman. I would maybe dip my toe a little bit in that level first. But I'm sure he's sparring with good people, because in the Peacock with Ahmed Patterson in the same gym. Let's wait and see. I mean, look, I'll be backing Tommy Tier. I want Tommy Tier to win. Yeah. He's been on lots of my shows. I hope he pulls it off. I just I have a lot of hesitation with Woodgate. I just think, right, we're at a point now. We have to roll the dice. We have to find out now. If he wins it, he's got some really, really big fights lined up. He'll make a lot of money. Cruiserweight division is an attractive division, and we've got that to look forward to. Tommy Tier, if it had been my decision, I probably would have held back just a touch to develop. But then again, look, Tamika Mucha hasn't had that much. I mean, all right, ABA champion, but let's see.
Also, Ben Jones, Elliot Matthews, and Darryl Williams, who I saw the video game. Very impressive.
All on the card. Yeah.
Darryl Williams makes a return after. It's been a long while. It was October when he knocked out Richard Horton.
Yeah, he had a little problem with an injury. I saw that he's back in there now.
And I saw the video game that you posted up the other day of him.
Yeah,
looking quite impressive.
He was the Mike Tyson, and they did well to pick him. They're very happy. His style is very similar, and he brings the same sort of excitement as Tyson as well. When he comes in, you know you're going to see a proper fight. And
big year for him, also.
Massive year for him, huge.
Mickey, thank you very much for this week's edition, and we'll catch up with you next week, one day before the big night, Clash of the Titans. Nice. Thank you.
Cheers.